Welcome everybody to the Watchlist right here on the Latiners Network, where we review all the shows and movies that get released on streaming, and of course let you know what's coming out so you can create your very own watch list. It's a very special edition. Today is a Father's Day special. So let me first wish my co-host here a very happy Father's Day. Of course, Chewy, Senor Jaime. How you doing today?
Hey, brother. Thank you very much.
You ready to do this? Get a little virtual weekly TV guide going for you guys. We got a special gift for all the fathers out there because it was actually a pretty good week of TV. So I'll give to you guys are some good recommendations so you can stay home with the kids out with the mom, giving you about an hour of free time while you open up your tie, whatever gift you get. I'm sure Chewy loves his tie and his underwear he gets every year. Um,
Legos.
okay, that works too. So yeah, Chewy, decent week this week, no? Am I wrong here? Or is it just me?
I mean, it was a light week,
A light
but yeah,
week,
I
but a
can't
good
complain.
week, and the boys is always on. So that alone makes it a good week when the boys is on. Let's just make that
I love myself a
perfectly
good
clear.
musical.
It- that is true. So let's get started. But we're not gonna go over a couple of shows that got that ended this past week that well, I know I enjoyed, and I would assume you did as well. The first one is Barry, right? 8 episode run ended on HBO Max, season 3, a show that I've been huge on since the beginning, and it got a little slow start, but once it got going, this season was great, man. What a good ending, a good way to take this show. I don't want to spoil it. Where the show ends up really opening some doors I didn't think were gonna be opened at this point. Damn that Fonzie bastard. But yeah, it shows it's funny. It's very dark comedy, and David Hayter. He's just he's great. He's great in this. True, what do you think about this 8 episode run?
No, I think it ended very well. We got a couple of cliffhanger, positions, but a couple of the main characters, obviously, a betrayal. We got uh, uh, the gay lead of the I don't know, Slovenians
Oh, I don't know
or
what they are,
whatever they are.
Polish or Slovenia. I don't know. Whatever,
Great
right?
Polish,
Yeah.
Slovenians, goofy Austrian probably know that, but whatever. His arc is just funny and great, and kind of going commando on the Bolivians, the Bolivians. But no, man, it's a very enjoyable show. Like it's a 30-minute episodes. It's short and sweet to the point. Doesn't drag out. And this was season 3, and obviously, there was a big gap between 2 and 3 for obvious reasons. So that's why the little bit of the slow start to kind of bring everyone back into
Sure.
fold and remind everybody where everything was. Because I had a hard time remembering where we left off. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah, it sure. It's been
And
at least 2 or 3 years since the last season or
yeah, at
something. Yeah, it's
least,
felt
at
that way
least.
anyway.
And hopefully it's not 2 years before we see what's happening to Barry. Because man, I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah, I know. The way it ended is like, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to say anything, but yeah, it was a really good ending. I was like, okay, I can't wait till next season. Hopefully, yeah, it comes within the normal year. These shows usually get dropped, so hopefully you don't want to wait too long for it. The other one that surprised how much I liked it, that's The Offer on Paramount Plus. Obviously, a show we got Miles Teller in here who plays Al Ruddy, the famous Hollywood producer, two-time Academy Award winner, and kind of chronicles, based on his stories, the making of The Godfather, one of the greatest films ever, by all accounts. And yeah, this one was actually, I really like this one, man. This has Miles Teller's great. The cast is great. Got the girl who's in Ted
Ted
Lasso. She's
Lasso.
fantastic. That guy,
We have
the producer, the main head of Paramount Studios, is awesome. He's so
which
good.
are you talking about Bob Evans? Or are you talking
Bob
about
Evans. Bob Evans.
okay, the Bob
Yeah,
Burns character.
yeah, he is. He's awesome. He's great. And it's
Where he
really
was Ozymandias. I mean, I know his name, but
Ozymandias. Yeah,
he was
in The Watchmen.
Ozymandias in the movie
The Watchmen.
The Watchmen.
Yeah.
He's been in several shows you've seen. Obviously, he's a British English British actor.
Hmm.
So you've seen those British productions. The true head of Paramount or the parent company.
Well, the parent
Uh,
company, right?
yeah, the parent company. We've seen him in the Expanse. He plays a great villain in Expanse. He plays a villain in Halo. So
Halo.
you've
Yeah.
seen him.
Yeah, he's done a
Yeah.
lot of things. He's one of the guy from that thing. It's got a really
Yeah,
great cast. And
Coppola.
yeah.
Coppola is played by oh God, what's his name?
Oh, he usually does comedic roles.
Yes.
For the
Oh,
most part.
he's been in Walking Dead. He was in the Fantastic Beasts series. Fogler. Fogler. That's his name.
Yeah, Dan Fogler. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi's in here, of course, playing
Hmm. Hmm.
one of the mafia bosses in New York, and it's really good, man. It's amazing. I mean, one you complain, it probably should have been eight
Hey,
episodes
hey,
for me,
hey! It's
but
good to see. It's good to see Lou Ferrigno eating again,
Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk is eating.
man.
He was the guy hired to play Luca Brasi at the end of the day.
That's right.
That was funny. That was cool, and it's good because there's so much that goes on here. I mean, I assume some parts are true, some aren't, or exaggerated. But what they go through with the real mob in New York trying to get their permission to film the movie out there, and obviously they're trying to get their piece of the action, all this stuff. The studio not wanting to make, well, at least the heads of the parent company not wanting to make this film made to begin with, and the budget, all kinds of stuff goes on. The horse's head thing was great, really good, fun, entertaining show. They did this really well, man, and they barely even focused on the movie, right? It was about everything else except for the actual
Well,
filming
it's the
for the movie,
making
right?
of it's the making of the movie,
Right,
right? It wasn't
exactly, yeah.
because obviously they went through episodes where they were trying to get where
With the
dealing with the whole
casting,
Al Pacino casting, right?
yeah.
Where the head had said no and he said yes, right? Bringing in Marlon Brand, convincing Marlon Brando to do this. Dealing with James Caan. There was a little scene here where he talked to Caan to beat up one of the actors who had harassed the women on set. You see all the major players that are part of the movie, and even a little Frank Sinatra at the beginning as well,
Oh,
who
true,
was
Frank
against
Sinatra,
this
right?
movie because
That's
of
right.
its Italian heritage. So, like I said, you recognize the names, even the Bob Evans girlfriend, Ollie McGraw. Obviously, I remember that name from back in the day. Obviously,
Yeah.
living before our time.
Yeah, she was
But
a
you recognize the
love
players
story.
and the names. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's it. Thank you very much. Yes,
Yeah.
love story. So, but no, I think it was done well, to kind of giving us that behind the scenes of what transpired in the making of that film and the issues that they had all over the place, and even going to Italy, right, and having the mob
Oh yeah.
come in and say, "Okay,
That's
let's go
right.
somewhere else."
I remember that was funny. That was good.
So, but it was good. I really like Dan Fogler's portrayal of Francis Ford Coppola,
Yeah. They were all great. I
and
mean, they all came to
yes,
play in this one. They're really good. I mean, it really elevated the material to
it's
this. Yeah.
unfortunate it's a limited series, right?
Right. Limited
But
series. It is what it is. Whatever. We got it. We got
and,
a little
and
Burt Reynolds in the end there. Well,
That's right. Yeah, because I was interesting. It's like, oh, I know that movie, The Longest Yard. And talking
yeah, that
about
was
Burt Reynolds. And,
that was already's follow up to The Godfather.
yeah,
Was it
yeah.
Longest
So
Yard?
that
So
was
yeah, they touched on that very briefly, but it's there, so it's kind of
yeah.
funny.
But they brought it. Like I said, so they bring in a lot of ancillary people involved in this whole process and how it from beginning to end, right? So it's very very interesting. Well made, well acted, well
Yeah.
written. So
Yeah, this is a
kudos to
really
that.
fun show. Again, it's probably 20 people who have Paramount Plus. For the 18, it's
Well,
gonna be true.
now
You
it's
should watch it.
now it's 19 because I just shut off
Oh
my
well,
first
right.
subscription.
Obviously, I assume there's no reason to have Paramount Plus now as a Star Trek fan. But that being
Until
said, yeah,
Halo comes back, I think. Oh, unless something really great comes out, but okay, I want to see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Paramount is the weakest. That's why I'm surprised this show was as good as it was because they don't, the Star Trek stuff's so hit and miss.
I'll take your Star Trek, right? You know what you're getting, right? The
Right.
Halo I liked.
Halo was
All
fine.
right,
Halo was fine.
real
I
fine.
didn't love it, but
Yeah.
for the most part, they don't have a whole lot to offer. No pun intended. Okay, kind of pun
Mm.
intended. But yeah, definitely, you guys have Paramount Plus. This is a show to definitely watch, no doubt about it. This week, let's start with the. Now let me move on to what came out this weekend. As always, we start with the films, right? We got one that came out on Netflix, and that's Spiderhead, starring Thor himself, of course, Helmsworth, and Miles Teller again, who we just talked about in The Offer. So
Again.
this is a kind of a science fiction film. We got Hemsworth, who's a scientist, probably the best looking scientist ever, obviously. You know, clearly. So he's a scientist and he's experimenting in this place called Spiderhead, which is a penitentiary. And the inmates there volunteer there, and while in the time there, they get to be experimented on these drugs that I guess he's trying to develop, which control emotions and stuff like that, right? Whether love or anger or fear, whatever the case is, and he have a little machine attached to the back, and that's how they inject the thing in there. So it's Netflix. We're rolling the die, right? And I'll say this: I like the premise and not much else, to be honest with you. I was not a big fan of this. For me, I like the idea behind it. And I start the first 20 minutes like, oh, this is okay. I like what he's doing. This is cool, but they don't do anything with it. And the ending is talk about not sticking the landing. It's almost laughable. The third act, it got kind of silly and just I didn't get it. It didn't work for me. Honestly, that's not terrible. This is really middle of the road at the end of the day, but it's not one that I can really recommend. Chew, your thoughts.
No, it was okay. I mean, I couldn't wait for it to end. Honestly, I was, 2/3 the way through it. Chris Hemsworth was funny and it was good. Probably the best part of the movie. Um, but just overall, it's just okay. Like I said, way better than Interceptor, which is not saying much, even though people are watching Interceptor. So whatever, buyer beware.
But yeah,
But
whatever, fine.
like I said, middle of the road. I have 2 hours to burn. Fuck it.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had a little more meat to it, a little more excitement. It's just kind of treaded along for a little while there. Just what, like I said, it's
Mhm.
not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not, again, it's not a great movie. There's other stuff to watch, right? And not Interceptor, but other stuff I'm sure you can watch besides this.
Mhm.
Not surprised. That being said, let's get on to some the good stuff now. More good stuff, anyway. Web of Make Believe. This docu
Mhm.
series on Netflix, 6-parter. Each one, the episode 5 and 6 is one story. The others are all
Mhm.
single stories, right? All based off deception and lies drawn from the internet and things of that nature, social media and all that. And dude, I really dug this, man. I actually finished it through because it wasn't a busy week anyway, and this
Mhm.
came out early in the week, and I watched all 6 episodes, and it's really good, man. I like some of these stories. I didn't even hear like the first one was about, I guess, a kid, a hacker or whatever, who makes it's called swatting. I no idea what that was, and I guess he can call in a SWAT team to someone's house by the phone and all that. Obviously, it causes a lot of issues and money spent, and it's all fun and games until somebody
Until
gets
someone
hurt,
gets hurt.
and
Yeah.
then somebody got hurt, right? And the story turns really dark at that point. But a lot of individual stories, a lot of them will kind of incite some kind of emotion in you. It's a couple that like, man, it's rough. The last one, the 2 episodes, was a fun one and very eye opening in terms of what happened and fascinating. I don't want to get too much into detail, but the hacker who exposed FBI methods and he represented himself when he got arrested. A fascinating story, really good. This one I really like, Chewy.
Yeah.
High recommend for me, and then usually they do well with their um, documentaries. Chewy, what you
Documentaries.
think?
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes. I watched them this week, but I did see the other ones. Yeah, the Swanee one was interesting, and obviously tragically,
Yeah,
you kind of knew that was going to happen because that's what people start pulling this prank, and then someone eventually gets hurt, right? And
yeah.
and someone pays the price. And unfortunately, it's a complete innocent bystander, wrong address and overzealous policing, like as we've mentioned some of
For
these
sure.
shows recently, right?
Hmm.
Where it's shoot first, ask questions later,
Right.
right? You know, and unfortunately, this was the net result.
Yeah, and,
The
and,
the
and
other
ended
one,
up yeah, and ended up even more deaths after the fact. I don't want to get spoilery,
yeah,
but
oh
things
yes,
occur
yeah,
after.
because
I
of
mean,
that,
the
yes,
first 45 minutes of the episode is kind of light but interesting, and then it turns really dark. Good. But
yeah.
I'm like, damn. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I really enjoyed the one I really found eye opening was I Am Not a Nazi one, which I think is either second or third episode,
I think it's the
if
third
I'm
one.
not
Yeah, the
mistaken.
third one. Yeah, yeah.
Where obviously this stuff is going on, right, and the dark web and other areas and all these fringe sites, underground sites, and people posting video. But it's eye opening as far as the prevalence of this. It's there, but until you actually see it and you kind of realize in context, it's like we kind of think, oh yeah, it's in the past, it's whatever, it's a small element, and you start looking at this and like, is it really?
Right, right.
It's like it's underneath the sheet and it's there and it's more prevalent than what people want to admit or care to find out. Right? Ignorance is bliss
Mm-hmm.
sometimes until something happens, and obviously this culminated in a number of events, both socially and politically, and the impact and ramifications of what's going on today. So I want to just was very fast,
Yeah,
very
that
interested
was a
in
really
learning more
good one.
about
Yeah,
that.
and actually interviewing one of the girls who was part of this kind of
Yeah,
neo-Nazi
yeah. I mean, she
crowd and
she fell into
what
the
she
rabbit
went
hole.
through. Right,
Yeah,
what she
yeah.
went through, and then finally ended up getting out after she kind of her eyes got open
Mhm.
to what was going on.
Yes.
But it does speak a lot about the benefits and
The
disadvantages
pitfalls.
of like YouTube, for example, right? Where there's a lot of good stuff in YouTube, like the Watchlist. But on the flip side of that, there's a lot of hate generated material, right? Which freedom of speech, I get it, it is what it is, but it's out there and it really helps kind of unfortunately send their message out with so much ease as opposed to 20, 30 years ago. So, but very, 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 very good, very well done and entertaining. The last 2 episodes are really good too. You're gonna like that one. That
Sure.
one I enjoyed. That was a kind of more of a fun one. with a really eye-opening situation at the end. So that I like
No,
that a
that's
lot.
good. It's good that
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have a more of a fun episode to kind of cleanse the palate. But these are all fairly dark, right? It's not meant to. There is no happy ending with any of these stories because these are supposed to be inform and teach, but warn you, right,
Yeah,
of
exactly.
what's going
Yeah,
on.
but I'm glad it ended a little bit lighter because again, I'm gonna say you enjoy it. It's actually really good. But yeah, highly recommend for me, no doubt about it. Um, Dark Winds. Let's talk about that one. That's one of the shows that debuted on AMC Plus this
Hmm.
past Sunday. A couple episodes already out for those who have AMC Plus. At six, I think it's 7 people now. From some of the guys subscribed to the AMC Plus. Good for you
Yeah,
guys.
we
Uh,
got we got 1 year subscription, so we're
yeah,
good for
we're
till
still we're
December.
still hanging on here, but and we should because AMC has been doing pretty well the last few months, right? The last releases we
Yes.
talked about last week, 61st Street.
The surprise hit was this is going to hurt. That's been
Yeah, this is
the
going to
nice
hurt. Yeah,
surprise.
going out now. It's really good. Chris Files, I'm enjoying that Dirty Black Bag. So there are a lot of shows. They're pretty consistent with what they're bringing out here. So I was looking forward to this one for the most part because of that reason. I wasn't, the trailer was like, okay, whatever. I thought it was kind of standard. But
Yeah, another standard police procedural.
right,
You know,
yeah. But I mean, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it, man. I thought it was really good, really well made. It's takes place in the '70s, early '70s, and surrounding is the officer who is a Navajo, the Navajo
reservation,
reservation. There
nation.
you go.
Yes,
Nation. Yeah, exactly. He's the main lieutenant, their sheriff, whatever you want to call him. And there's a
tribal police.
thank you. There we go. And there's a murder that occurs, which now he's involved in investigation. The FBI come in, but it's also another seemingly unrelated crime. There's a robbery of an armored car involving a helicopter and all that, which now kind of get both thrown in the mix. Very well done, man. I'm really enjoying this one, man. I like what's going on. I like the pace. It's not too slow, and it gives you enough good mystery and intrigue there. True, your thoughts?
Yeah, I got another nice surprise, man. We had
Yeah.
seen it. It's okay. We'll get Apple Plus, sorry, AMC Plus a shot at these new shows and kind of see what we think. But the actor, the American Indian actor, you've seen him. He's been in Fargo. He's been in several shows. I mean, obviously he's typecast.
Yeah.
He is a Native American, but nonetheless, he's still a very very good actor in the roles that he portrays. Right. So this one has very well written, very interesting story. It's progressing quickly, right? Obviously, we've seen 2 episodes, and so we kind of know some things already. I don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't
Right.
seen it yet. So they're not trying to keep the make this a mystery surprise episode 8. Surprise, or give you a big twist, right? But it's not a paint by numbers police procedural,
Right.
and you'll find it very entertaining.
Yeah, and they invoke that the culture of the Native Americans in there, which makes it even
Yes,
more interesting. Particularly with some of the I want to say supernatural elements. I guess might be the best
a little
word
bit. Yeah,
to some degree,
yeah.
right? So it adds a little bit of extra to the show. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm very surprised by this one. This is a high recommend for me thus far. So are they showing us on AMC as well? Correct.
I believe this is on AMC, yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
the
Okay.
AMC Plus releases an episode ahead of the showing,
Okay.
or for some of the shows, right?
Sure.
So that's why we got 2 episodes today. You'll see, and, for those who don't have AMC Plus, you can watch an AMC episode 2, but we got episode 3 dropping today already for the
Right.
rest of
Yeah.
us.
Exactly. Okay. So it is on AMC. Okay. So now
Mhm.
it's open to more viewers. Yeah. This one I really recommend. It's really good. Really
Mhm.
well done. The last one here, which ended up being, as far as shows, my favorite one, surprisingly as well. That's The Old Man. Show on Hulu, FX Hulu, and starring, of course, the dude himself, Jeff Bridges. He's eating again. Good for him. We got John Lithgow, who
Dude.
always like. And I'll say this: why the government ever wants to go against the dude, I don't understand. But that's a different story for a different day. I'll leave it at that. But this one, this is really good. Obviously, Jeff Bridges plays an ex spy, CIA agent. I haven't quite mentioned exactly which organization he's
Well,
working for.
obviously,
Oh, did
why
they?
is lettered agent? I mean, it's hard to because there's a flashback where I believe he's in Afghanistan in the
It
80s.
appears like that. That would be the case, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is he may not have been in, but he was associated with the CIA in some way, some fashion, maybe off the books type
Yeah, Black
activity.
Ops. Who knows, right? And again, I'm sure they'll maybe detail that as the show continues. Been a couple episodes
Mhm.
only released on Hulu. But yeah, so he's older now. His wife died recently. He's kind of on his own, doing his own thing, hiding, living in hiding, I guess.
He's hiding,
He's
right?
hiding. He's hiding, right?
He's yeah. He's not living.
And
He's trying to stay off the radar
right
because
off the
for
grid.
whatever reason, which we still haven't found out, but obviously as we progress, they've been chasing him for years, and obviously
Right.
he's been incognito, low profile, alternate identities, staying off the grid. But he's been being chased for this last 20 or 30
I
years
think
for
3 years,
whatever
yeah,
reason.
exactly. And
Yeah.
now they found him, so now he's on the run and he's trying to survive and stay alive and etc. And
Mhm.
John Lithgow plays the FBI agent who has a relationship with him to some degree, and they bring him in because he's obviously aware of the Bridges character. Dan Chase is, I guess, Bridges' name
Mhm.
character. He's aware of him, and he's also trying to help him to some degree because there's a lot of blowback about a situation that they were involved in 30 years ago. So he's kind of playing
He
both
was his
sides. Yeah.
handler. Looks like he was his handler
Right,
at
he's
some
playing
point.
both sides where I don't want to get caught, at the same time I want to just disappear because I don't want this to come back on me eventually. So
Mhm.
very cool show, and I gotta say this one is debuting a new rating here. This one for me passed the cell phone test. This is a cell phone test show where a lot of shows I'm on the phone sometimes. You know how it is. You're reading something,
You know what? You
playing the
checking
game,
Facebook, checking Instagram,
exactly,
whatever.
and all that,
Yeah.
and whatever. There's nothing wrong. That doesn't speak about the show. Just sometimes you can walk and chew gum at
Multitask.
the same time,
Mhm.
right? This one passed the phone test because about halfway through, they start off. I'm like, okay, cool. Halfway through, like, oh no, I have to put the phone down for a second, and just focus on the show. And that speaks volumes
Mhm.
about how good this show is. Really cool. Even the action, it's not. I love, like, I had a conversation with Eric and Nurse playing the other day about this. I love me some John Wick action. All the exaggeration is beautiful. It's great. I love it, right? But sometimes a nice, good, realistic fight scene works just as fine. It's just as well. And Jeff Bridges is a badass, but he's not John Wick. He's not using martial arts and flipping people over. It's good, kind of hardcore, more realistic fight. The one scene you had with the guy in the SUV,
Mhm.
brutal, really good, and he has this. Speaking of John Wick, this amazing dogs that Jeff Bridges' character has.
Now
uh,
those are some amazing dogs. The
those
dog
is
in the
I
dog
mean,
that's cute, but these dogs
yeah.
are like sit, heel,
Oh man, these
eat.
dogs are, yeah, phenomenal. But yeah, so it's really well done. And the second episode was a little bit slower than the first, but I set a lot of things up. So I'm really enjoying it. This is borderline must watch for me. I'm definitely in as far as let me see where this goes, but I'm like it. I'm all in here. Chewy, what do you think?
No, no, man. Like I said, I think before we started, we akin this to old John Wick, right?
Right.
And it's how I best could describe it based on the trailers and stuff. And that's obviously, I think it's a fair assessment because he is a trained,
He's a trained killer, trained
he's
operative.
he's not an assassin, but he's a trained killer. I mean, this
Sure.
guy knows it. I mean, there's one scene where he suspects he's being followed, right? He picks up the tail and in his home, he basically ambushes the guy, with the lights out and takes him out, and the dogs grab him and stuff. The whole SUV fight was great. There's
Yeah.
one scene in the second episode where it's in his mind. I was like,
Oh
holy!
yeah.
When I first
Yeah.
saw it, I was like,
Yeah. I
holy
was like,
cow!
oh hell no. I was like, what?
I was
Yeah.
like that Walter
Yeah.
White, no half measures,
Right. Right. Yeah.
type scene, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, that's what he was thinking of doing at that very moment, and they were like, oh,
Well, it
woo!
shows you how far he's willing to go, because that's in his mind as far as, okay, if shit hits the fan, this is what's
This is
going
what
down.
we
I
got to
don't
do.
care who's
Yeah.
in front of me or who I know, whatever the case. It's just him and his daughter, who's he always talks to, and they were threatened to go after his daughter, which is a big mistake. You don't do that.
Well, I mean, this is the interesting piece, which we're not sure if he is really talking to his daughter or not, because
True, true, true.
through the investigation in the second episode, as John Lithgow comes in and tell him find, he gets on assignment to find a certain person, right? Doesn't get much information, but he knows,
Right.
right? And as they go through it, she finds that she's deceased. Now, whether it's fake or real, now you start questioning: is that real?
Sure.
Is who he's
Yeah.
talking to real? Is he just leaving messages because he can't let go? Maybe through guilt. So there's still a lot of things, layers to be peeled back and obviously uncover as far as why he is where he is at this very moment.
Yeah, like I said, and Hulu is giving us good shows, but I don't think recently we've gotten that must-watch show. This could be theirs. I think personally, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's on that level. I mean, it's early 2 episodes.
Well, it's
Like like
FX,
that.
right? It's FX.
Well, FX.
FX.
Well, sure, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, kind of build them together, whatever. FX
Mm-hmm.
has given us great shows over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But this is definitely one. This is really well done. This is when you have good talent like Lithgow and Bridges together. I mean, come on. It just works. So, absolutely, yeah. You guys should be on this show, with an FX or I guess Hulu if you have Hulu at home. Definitely check it out. So, yeah, some good stuff in there for all your dads out there. Like I said, Old Man, all these shows I enjoyed. Dark Winds, Web of Lies, Old Man, really good. Spiderhead was the best not a
Yeah,
show. So, to
I
be fair.
actually it was one that we probably forgot to mention. Well, no, we mentioned it last week, but we also watched Iron Chef, the Netflix incarnation of Iron Chef.
True, I forgot about that. Yeah, I have been watching Iron Chef. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love food reality shows. I just, it's my thing, whatever. So, but yeah, it's not a show, but it's really good. If you like
Yeah,
Iron Chef, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, in line with that, it's very entertaining. We got Danny Trejo. We got Machete as one of the judges.
Machete.
Who, I love Danny Trejo, but he was the worst judge I've ever seen on the show. Um, Whatever, fair enough.
Sure.
Sure, I get it. Listen, I brought a spot on my face nonetheless. But yeah, Iron Chef's obviously really cool. That's on Netflix now. Things like 8 episodes, something like
Yes.
that. But yeah, so like a good. I mean, not a whole lot, but good quality over quantity. I think very good week of TV. So you guys should definitely have a lot to watch. Next week, hopefully it's the same. We have again not a lot of quantity, maybe some quality. Let's see,
Good quality.
we got 4 releases here. Starting with the one that's gonna get juices flowing for us anyway. That's Umbrella Academy, third season on the 22nd. So Wednesday, kind of weird. They don't usually do like this kind of show on a Wednesday. So which is great. Gives you more time to watch and kind of get into it. Obviously, we're both huge fans of the Umbrella Academy. It's one of the Netflix best shows. The Klaus is, God, he's the greatest ever. It's just so much fun. But great show that comes out here. We got another interesting one here, which I'm very curious about. We were fans of Money Heist. Not a great show, but a good, cool show, which had worldwide following, right? The Spanish show. I guess now there's a Korean version. So we got Money Heist Korea. Haven't seen the trailer yet, so I don't know how close it will follow. I mean, I'm sure the premise will be the same for those who are familiar with Money Heist. It's basically the whole season was dedicated to a huge bank robbery, right? That's basically what it was. With great characters in it. I assume this is going to follow the same suit. I don't know, but hopefully bring some of that Korean culture vibe into this kind of show. Could be interesting. So I'm looking forward to this one. So that's on the 24th. Right? Yeah, 24th on Netflix. This is what a movie on Netflix, same day, 24th, and that is The Man from Toronto. I know Chewy, you didn't send me this on the list, but I'm not sure if you're aware of it. Listen, roll the die, right? We put it with Spiderhead. Why not put it with The Man from Toronto? At the end of the day, it's supposed to be this kind of a comedy. Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. I love me some Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's an assassin, and I guess Kevin Hart's just a regular Joe Schmo staying in the same hotel, and it's a case of mistaken identity. Where now they think Kevin Hart is the assassin when it's really Woody Harrelson, so now Woody has to use Kevin Hart and all that. So it could be interesting. Again, Netflix, whatever. I mean, whatever, right? I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot. Again, I saw Interceptor. Well, not that much of it, but it'll be a short lease. But I'm gonna watch it anyway. It's not a big week of TV, so I'll get a chance to watch this. And then this one we talked about you before. It's Chloe. Coming out Amazon Prime. That same Friday. Yeah, it was BBC show, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
I don't know too much about
this. This is the one we thought was coming out in January and didn't, and so finally it's made its way to Amazon Prime. So let's. I don't have much on it, but let's see if it was worth the wait.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard decent things. I guess it's girl. This one girl, I guess, assumes someone's identity, an influencer or something like that. I don't know, something along those lines. It's a limited series, right?
Yes.
Okay, so six episodes probably. So that's on Amazon. Some days they'll probably drop all 6 episodes. I guess I don't know, potentially, because usually that's how you do with the limited stuff. So yes, we got 4 things in here. A couple things that really, catching my eye. Money Heist, I'm really curious about. I'm really interested in what they do with that. If it's more,
what to expect.
Yeah, if it's exactly the same, I'll probably be off it because I don't want to see the exact same show. Just with Koreans, I give me something different, unique. Give me a different take on that, in situation. So. But yeah,
this could turn from Money Heist to Money Grab.
Right, exactly. So, pretty soon we get the American version of Squid Game, which we kind of are. Which, by the way, Netflix, I still have yet to see if that can being contributed by Netflix for my involvement in the success of Squid Game. Of course, season 2 is going to get announced. Big surprise, and of course, they're actually doing a reality show based on Squid Game, which is interesting, and I gotta say, genius idea of Netflix. They're riding that horse, dude. Ride that horse until it dies, man. I get it. So, but either way, so again, small week, but it's good stuff. And again, boys on Friday. Come on.
Yeah. So and we still have Miss Marvel and
Miss Marvel.
For some of us, we still have Kenobi on Wednesday. So it's wrapping up
Kenobi's
this
ending,
week.
so I'm happy about that. Now leave that at that. So that being said, again,
now you just hated to hate. Last episode was not that bad.
Listen, talk about a show I do nothing but be on the phone. I watched a show like this with my phone on. I don't want to see the show. That's
at least we didn't get Keystone Cops this episode. Okay.
I wish we. Whatever.
Don't say.
I don't have the strength for Obi. I really don't. Not anymore. It's Sunday. It's Father's Day. I go see my dad. Whatever. You got all your dads out there. Enjoy yourselves. Again, some good watch this week. Enjoy them. Chewy, you have a good day as well. We appreciate everyone. Share, like, subscribe, etc., etc. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.